Should Modern Warfare 4 have a classic mode? This is a video from Exclusive Ace. I know a very popular opinion right now with Black Ops 7, and the new classic mode has brought so many players into the game, and people have been playing a lot more. Even I have hopped on a couple weeks ago, and actually a couple days ago as well, just to hop on and play. And I do agree that I think we should have it on Modern Warfare 4 as well. We'll see what how he
Something I've been
says.
seeing float around in the community lately for Modern Warfare 4 is talks of a classic mode. Should Modern Warfare 4 bring a classic mode to the game like we see right now with
Yes,
Black Ops 7?
100%.
And some are even suggesting that the classic mode should just be a staple in every COD going forward. So today, I'm just going to be sharing all of my thoughts on this. And when it comes to that classic mode in Black Ops 7, for those that are maybe unfamiliar, this is a mode where they've really dialed a lot of things back. We've got very classic style movement, so we have limited sprint, no sliding at all, although you can still jump shots. And then in the case of Black Ops 7, they removed that omni sprint or the ability to sprint in any direction, and of course they removed wall jumps.
Yeah, because I literally I love all the movement in Black Ops 7, but I also from time to time want to play kind of like what Call of Duty used to feel like in general, and it was actually a lot of fun. It actually bring me back to the game. Actually enjoyed the guns a little bit more. Actually enjoy like actually being in positioning and stuff like that, and actually caters more to your gun skill more than you having to move around the game. And I actually find that really fun. In a little different change of pace from other Call of Duties. And this should be also in pretty much every Call of Duty. I feel like it should have that option. Because at this point, like, the best way to do it is have options. And I feel like what Call of Duty struggles to do, specifically playlists and other things of that nature, they completely forget to just let's keep the stuff in that people enjoy and stop like making it limited time modes and things of that nature. I literally thought the classic mode for a big bit of time that we're just going to have it as a limited time mode and we're going to get it back later down the line. But they saw how many people were playing it, like, oh, we got to keep it. And I have a general feeling, at least I know from Activision and Treyarch and Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, they kind of like, if they see how popular this is and they keep retention, and they big thing for them is retention. If they see that more people are playing because of this, they're going to keep it in the game.
Finally, they also made some class restrictions, so they restricted various items that were just unlike anything we saw in older CODs. So like many of the field upgrades, for instance, the perk specialties, and
besides
some of the
trophy
score
system, I think
are restricted
you
when
can use
playing the classic mode in order to best emulate classic Call of Duty within the game of Black Ops 7. And this mode has been a very popular addition in Black Ops 7. It brought a lot of people back to the game that maybe played it a little bit at launch, but then didn't really touch it.
For me, yeah, for real.
I've heard from many people that they've actually bought Black Ops 7 just to play the classic mode, especially now that
that's awesome.
That this mode will be permanent
that's
in
interesting.
Black Ops 7 for the rest of its life cycle, which also suggests that this is quite a popular mode. They wouldn't do that if it didn't have a very solid player base behind it.
100%.
And just anecdotally
yeah,
as well, when I search for the classic mode, I find games very, very quickly. So it's pretty clear there is demand for this classic style of Call of Duty that's less reliant on movement as one of the primary skill gaps in the game. And it's more about positioning and just gunplay.
100%, that's why I enjoy.
Popularity, obviously, people are throwing around the question, should Modern Warfare 4 be bringing the classic mode to the game? People clearly like it in Black Ops 7, so perhaps it should just be a staple. And when I was asked about this, my initial reaction was, no, I don't think they should do that. I think instead they should just be dialing movement and things back a little bit for the base version of the game to find a nice middle ground between classic Call of Duty and modern Call of Duty with its movement.
See, like, that's where, like, okay, like, I get what you're saying there, but I think, regardless, I think Call of Duty should always have options for anything. The way Call of Duty was then, people enjoyed it for what it was then, and way they changed movement, like Advanced Warfare, I enjoy Advanced Warfare, and that is like top down the craziest movement we've ever had in a Call of Duty. So I get that. Like, a lot of people will, like, didn't like that Call of Duty, but what they did is they made a classic mode where obviously at certain parts of the map you could not get onto, but it was not made for non-advanced movement. So I get what they did there, but they made a classic mode for the people that wanted to play Advanced Warfare and enjoy do that. So, like, I feel like with this situation, with how movement is, I feel like the best case scenario is always have the classic mode, have your movement, because that's where I feel like that's now what Call of Duty kind of represents at this point, more of like a similar of a movement shooter, which I feel like is not the greatest thing in the world, but the best alternative is have like actually have modes, a classic mode and just a regular how Call of Duty in the new game is represented. And I feel like that's the best way to do this.
And I think that would be the best route going forward to keep everyone unified. In saying that, though, after thinking about this a little more and reviewing the movement that we've seen so far that they've shown off for Modern Warfare 4, with these clips here, it doesn't really appear we're going to be seeing that middle ground between classic COD and modern COD movement. And
see, like, if you go middle ground, there's going to be restrictions and there's going to be issues that we got with Modern Warfare 2. When you make it too slow and have too many restrictions and stuff like that, you see it. But what I find that works so well is have no restrictions, but remove the sliding, the dolphin diving, and the Omni movement, and you pretty much get old Call of Duty movement. And what I feel like these guys struggle to do from a development standpoint, I don't fully know 100%, but I feel like if you try to make them slow it down, they're going to have restrictions because they're going to try to do it because that's often they do. Often they do on Infinity Ward side, they love restrictions. But if you do no restrictions and then cut off everything and then have the movement the way it is, you will see a big fast difference on what Call of Duty feels.
If anything, it seems Infinity Ward is reacting to the feedback from their most recent game, which was Modern Warfare 2. And with that, they're looking at the fact that the movement in Modern Warfare 2 wasn't very popular because many saw it as being too slow, too clunky, and therefore it appears they're mostly focused on ramping up the movement from Modern Warfare 2 and getting faster with it, rather than looking at the past 3 Call of Duties from the other studios and ramping down from those games. And this is also evidenced by the fact that they have brought up Modern Warfare 2 a couple times and how movement didn't land well with the community. They also tweeted in this way, which is sort of making fun of the fact that Modern Warfare 2's movement wasn't all that popular. And so for Modern Warfare 4, I don't think we're getting that middle ground between modern...
Like, I think we're not going to get modern because they would have to remove sliding. They would have to do capabilities. I feel like it's really hard to tone down stuff without being restrictive, particularly when it comes to sliding, because if you go too restrictive, you get ghost. You know what I mean? Like, you get ghost sliding, which I don't think people would really care as much as people I think they would. But at the same time, there's a big amount of player base that loves the movement of Call of Duty nowadays. And it's hard to not put it in the game. So I feel like to please both player bases, it's just to do playlist. And I feel like regardless, like sliding and the Omni movement is a big thing. And the sliding, if you tone it down, it becomes slow. If you, like what Infinity Ward does on a constant basis, if you make the normal sprint time slower, the game feels slower. So like they need to, if they want to make it work for like the older player base and the people that are enjoying the classic mode, you would have to completely wipe sliding, Omni movement, and all the restrictions that Modern Warfare 2 had. Kind of how Black Ops 7 looks.
Movement in Classic, I think they're going to be leaning a little more in the direction of modern movement, but without the modern Treyarch elements like Omni Sprint and wall bounces.
Yeah, that's fine.
It looks like movement's still going to be quite fast. We've got tactical sprint returning as well, and also the slide still looks pretty crazy, especially when looking at this clip here.
Like, it doesn't, like, the sliding is from here to here, which is insane, but it's Call of Duty how it is nowadays. So I have no issue with this. Like, if I'm not feeling sweaty in the moment, I'm going to go classic. If I want to sweat, I'm going to go play regular.
Just to me that they're not going with that middle ground route. And as a result, perhaps there will be demand and opportunity for a classic mode in Modern Warfare 4 as well. Obviously, time will have to tell. We've only seen these clips. These clips are also still fairly early in development. All of this is subject to change. I'm sure they're still going to be tuning and tweaking some movement values. And perhaps after feedback in the beta as well, they'll be tuning things a little bit. So I really think we do need to get our hands on it for ourselves to see how the movement actually feels in our hands and how it impacts the overall gameplay pacing and flow, for instance. But as I said, just based on what I've seen so far with these clips, I think a classic mode could potentially work for Modern Warfare 4, but it's probably something they wouldn't try until a little bit later on. Like, I don't think we would see a classic mode at launch with the game unless...
Like, I don't think we get it at launch, but if from a marketing perspective, I would, because it would bring more and more people to the game. The people that were not going to get Modern Warfare 4 because of the movement, you give a classic mode where it's permanent in the game, you get another part of the player base to get the game. And I think that's the best way to do this. But I don't think the way Activision and Treyarch and Infinity Ward, like how they kind of move is they wait a couple months to see the reception around the game and then they go from there. But that's just how that goes. What I've noticed with pretty much all the devs on this, and I feel like they should automatically on launch have the classic mode.
Just like a ton of people clamoring for it, for instance. But I do think at the very least, this is something they should remain open to at least trying out, maybe as a limited time mode at some point, and then just go based on feedback there.
See, like, I wouldn't, like, put it in the game. Like, but what I don't like what Call of Duty does is game modes that people enjoy and they just leave. Like, there's Warzone game modes that I enjoyed, they would remove. There were more duos. They would remove like certain things in game that I get frustrated at times that they would have done back in the day. And they're like, "Oh, we can't fit in everything," and I'm like, "What are we doing? Why is the game like 100 to 200 gigs?" And I'm sitting here trying to figure that out while there's little to no playlists in certain modes. Like, what is that from a dev perspective? Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, why are we not getting sharpshooter, one like infected, like all that stuff at launch, or like gradually put it into the game and leave it in the game, not put a limited time mode unless it's like a very unique mode that we've never seen in Call of Duty. Okay, if it doesn't do well, take it out. If it does well, leave it in the game. I feel like having options, yeah, it kind of splits how many people are playing in a certain mode. But why does that fucking matter? Like, if I want to play S&D, I'll play S&D. If I want to play Hardpoint or Domination or Demolition or fucking Free For All or whatever the fucking free game modes, Infected and stuff like that, like, I should be able to do that and keep them as staples, especially with this classic mode. But they struggle to keep a playlist together, and I don't understand that.
There's a ton of positive reception and a lot of people that are gravitating toward that mode. Maybe that's a sign that they should keep it around permanently, just like we saw with Black Ops 7.
Yes, 100%.
But who knows? Maybe with the lack of Omni Sprint and the lack of wall bounces in Modern Warfare 4 by default, maybe there will be less of a demand for that classic mode compared to what we saw in Black Ops 7.
I generally think, like, this is just a hot-ass take. The lobbies I'm in and the people that I see other people in are two different things. Like, I see on a constant basis people using the Omni movement, using sliding, canceling, sliding mechanics, the wall jumping, stuff of that nature. But if I go see like an average player or someone let's say, my uncle's caliber of player, like, I would see and notice a big difference. You maybe will see a sliding mechanic, but you won't see a constant jumping. You won't see like constant wall jumping and using mechanics. And I feel like if more and more people, if this is like the saying, if more and more people are playing that are more on the non-sliding side, I feel like people are still gravitating toward the classic mode. So they don't even have to think about sliding and just enjoying the game from that perspective. So even with Modern Warfare 4, without Omni movement and without the capability of Omni movement, I feel like it's still going to be fast, particularly because of the sliding and slide canceling in the game and stuff of that nature. Well, people are, especially with the mantling, I feel like it's just going to be that. And I feel like people are going to see, oh, sliding is still kind of annoying. I do want just a dumbed down, non-sliding, like crazy mantling game. And I could see a classic mode happening.
Where those elements were often pointed to as reasons that many people weren't into Black Ops 7's multiplayer is it was just too fast and chaotic for them, and they couldn't keep up, and they didn't want to learn how to keep up with that. They just wanted things to be more grounded and dialed back.
See, like, the grounded back, like, Modern Warfare 3 movement was cracked. 100% cracked. But at the same time, what's also very funny is there's no Omni movement. It was just very fast. And people, like, a lot of people love Modern Warfare 3, but there's a lot of people that didn't like it because of movement. And I feel like if you still, like I said, bring that mode in, it like in Modern Warfare 3 or some games like that, you will see a drastic amount of people hop back on that game because Modern Warfare 3 literally has all the Modern Warfare 2 maps with the classic mode and no movement live that nature. Bro, people would fucking have a ball, bro.
So I'm just really curious to see how all of this ends up playing out. We've also got Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 ports coming for
Yes.
PlayStation at some point in July, and there's a lot of talk about that, a lot of hype and interest surrounding that. And so I think there is clearly a sign that there is big demand for that more toned-back classic style of Call of Duty that's a little bit easier for the average player to get a handle on, rather than the insane movement techniques that have largely taken over. So perhaps a classic mode would be a good route for Modern Warfare 4, but looking forward for the franchise, should classic just be a staple and we have basically two different directions that each game is going to take, where they have the classic mode to appease the people that want that slower paced Call of Duty, and then the regular mode is going to be much faster movement to appeal to a lot more of the new gen crowd, or just the crowd that prefers a lot of movement. Some of them are old gen players that have just kind of adapted with the franchise and like the faster movement. Overall, I don't think that's the best route long term going forward, because you would be creating that very clear divide in your fan base just for the multiplayer side of things. And instead, I think it would be best to try to unify that player base by finding that perfect middle ground between the two. Because I think
I get what you're saying, the middle ground, but I don't trust this. Like, I don't trust these devs enough to find the middle ground, to find the right way. Like, I feel like if you tone down sliding, like halfway, the other side is going to complain that it's too slow. The other side is going to enjoy that. You take away tax sprint, I feel like both sides of the coin actually enjoy that. That should not be in the game. But if you like take away a lot of movement mechanics and tone it down, like, it's just going to angry the movement people, and it's going to make more of the older and the non-movement people happy. Like, I feel like there's no way to really, like, when it comes to Call of Duty and the community itself, there's no way to bring together people. Like, generally, in my general opinion, I feel like this game has always been divided, and it always will be divided, but obviously because of movement. And if you take movement out, a lot of people would not play the game. And if you put movement back in, another big part of the community will not play the game as well. Like, the best way to do this is to have these two modes, let both of those two people be happy, and that's it. Like, I feel like you don't really need to do much with the classic mode throughout the year, but add classic Modern Warfare maps to the classic mode. That's it. That's all you got to do. Like, at the beginning of the classic mode, have all of the actual like maps, but down the line you start adding like a straight playlist just for all the fucking actual remastered maps, because they're gonna do it. Like Black Ops 7, and this is like the third season or the fourth season. You have 2 more seasons left. There's already enough like maps from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 that we can actually enjoy on the actual classic mode. So I feel like it's still a capability to do this, and I think this is the best way to do this at the end of the day, because it just helps and supports both sides of the community.
a middle ground can be found where the people that like movement can still have a little bit, like still give them a slide, for instance, just don't make it way too crazy. Like, make it more responsive than what we saw with Modern Warfare 2 to avoid a lot of those complaints about things just feeling unnecessarily clunky, because that was really the big complaint with Modern Warfare 2 is the clunkiness of the movement rather than the speed itself. So maybe make that slide responsive, but tone back the acceleration and the distance that you can slide, because when the classic crowd sees a slide like this, that's quite a big turnoff for them. And I know a lot of people pointed to this clip as like, nope, not buying this game now. That's insane.
Like, see, I feel like toning it down really doesn't help a lot, because yes, the restrictions on Modern Warfare 2 were horrendous, just terrible. Like, regardless of how you feel about movement or non-movement, it just so fucking clunky from a non-movement perspective and a movement perspective. Regardless, it did not feel like Call of Duty at all. They've completely removed from that aspect, and I'm glad they're away from that Infinity War now and kind of going a little bit more in the movement direction, or more of like the fluid movement perspective. And I still will say this, like, I truly think, like, I've seen this community from top and down. I think Exclusive A has been around the same time as I have, from watching what Call of Duty has done over the years, and I feel like the way the community kind of runs. If you tone down movement, the just the acceleration, the how long you slide, people will still be angry. People will still be very frustrated on that side of the movement perspective. I want to hear this from you guys in the comments. If the movement gets like toned down to those aspects where acceleration is not that strong, the sliding, how far you go, and stuff like that, would that be fine for you? Would that be a good middle ground, or you still be frustrated the way the movement is when they do it to that perspective? Because I generally feel no matter what you do with Call of Duty, I've always learned there's nothing that could satisfy a community like Call of Duty community is. Like it's impossible. So I feel like trying to find a middle ground is impossible because no one's really happy. And the way I feel like is the best way to do it, fucking crank the movement to fucking cloud 9 in the regular mode and completely remove that movement mechanics in a classic mode. Fixes both communities. People can both have fun from both sides of the coin, and we don't complain about it. Like, I feel like that's the best way we can do this.
But then perhaps another middle ground they could find between modern COD and older CODs is get rid of tactical sprints and those crazy bursts of movement speed. Dial things back to having just that one normal sprint value, but instead of going all the way back to classic where we have very limited sprints, maybe at least keep that sprint unlimited. So there's a little bit of a middle ground there. And then also
I do agree there.
The auto sprint feature will actually work, because that is one area where I know a lot of players did not like the classic mode in Black Ops 7, is they removed that auto sprint feature where you just push forward to automatically sprint. Basically, what I'm trying to highlight here is I think there is room for hitting that middle ground, and I don't think they've really hit that. I'd say the closest we've got in recent years has been Modern Warfare 3, and a lot of people point to that as like the gold standard. As much as I really enjoyed Modern Warfare...
But the funny thing is, like, I love Modern Warfare 3. I love movement. This is like, I want to like say this. I'm not bashing movement at all, but like, I see the community, and like, I see like even Modern Warfare 3 at the beginning of the game, like, people, there was a big quarter of the community that was just like, I'm not getting this because the movement is fucking crazy. And that's Modern Warfare 3. That's not even like, that's not Black Ops 7 here. That's not, there's nowhere like that. It's not even that crazy. But it was just the tac sprint and the movement and how fast it goes. But I really wonder if they do hit this, I mark my words, exclusive base. I will say this on, if they find a middle ground and that like everybody in the community is saying this is the best middle ground, I will be wrong. But I feel like there could be a middle ground, but it's going to be really hard to get that middle ground without pissing off a big portion of a community, especially in the Call of Duty community. It's kind of tough.
3, and I personally like that level of movement. I still think that's probably a little too fast for a lot of the classic crowd, and I do think a big part of that is due to tactical sprint. But I just hope this is a topic overall that the Call of Duty studios are paying attention to, and basically seeing how much of a demand there is for that more classic style Call of Duty, and perhaps trying to find that middle ground for the games that are still early on in development or haven't started development yet.
See, like, I do, what would make so much sense to kind of prove Exclusive A's point, I think Black Ops 7 and the devs, what they need to do with the next season is have a limited time mode where, like he says, remove tac sprint, which is already out of Black Ops 7, and have like a shorter sprint time, a shorter sprint distance, and also remove like wall jumping and also remove omni movement, and see where that goes. Like have like a limited movement game mode where it's like half it, or like really tone down sliding and tone down that stuff of that nature. And I really want to see the community feedback from that and see where people are going with that and where the feedback goes. But because that would be a best case scenario to see where the community's at. And I feel like Call of Duty doesn't do it enough, is like get these limited time modes and see like how people feel about the movement mechanics in Call of Duty and see who gravitates towards it. I feel like that's a really good idea.
For Modern Warfare 4, though, as I said, I think it could be a good idea to try out the classic mode, depending on how things actually feel and what the reception is like once we get into the beta build of the game. But time will have to tell on all of that, and this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. First off, do you guys think Modern Warfare 4 should include a classic mode similar to what we see in Black Ops 7? And then looking even further to the future, do you think the classic mode should be a staple in every Call of Duty going forward? Or would you prefer if they just tried to find a good middle ground that helps bridge that gap between modern COD and classic Call of Duty? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below.
See, like, this is where, like, I do agree from some standpoints that if they do find a middle ground, but at the same time, I just don't trust the community of Call of Duty. Like, they kind of, it's really hard to please them, so it doesn't, like, it's really hard to say. But at the same time, I feel like in general, with way the Black Ops 7 is with the classic mode, it was been so much fun. And with Modern Warfare 4, and I do agree, we wait into the beta, see where people feel about the beta, and like, okay, then we make a classic mode on release. But when it comes to older and like the next generation of Call of Duty, let's say we do add a classic mode, it kind of makes people, or basically, if I'm saying a lot of devs, be able to have this ultimate freedom to do whatever they want within the game. You know what I mean? Like inside the game, like, okay, I'm going to make another Advanced Warfare, but we're going to have a classic mode for anybody that does not want to play this type of game from that perspective. You can enjoy that from that way. But let's say they tone it down crazy amount. Let's say they to remove everything and it's just classic Call of Duty. And then you have a mode where it's ultimately cracked, where it stems, and there's actually a slide cancel in the game. And that mode becomes that, and it makes it a staple. Like, kind of mix it around where it's like it fits and helps both communities at the same time inside the same Call of Duty community. But at the same time, time will tell. Obviously, I do agree with exclusive A's from there. I do agree that at some point, I don't see them doing it all the time, depending on the game. Modern Warfare 4 could be very toned down, or it could be not at the same time. And I feel like with a classic mode, it would be cool if they keep with the movement, but if they don't and kind of change things around, it'll be a little bit different. But if you start to see a classic mode on a constant basis, you kind of see where they're running with. They're going to go kept on with the movement of Call of Duty, and way it is now. But if they actually do this, it would actually help a lot of people. I feel like it. But I'm like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look in the comment section, and like short answer, yes. If Fortnite can have a no build mode, Call of Duty can also have the classic movement mode. Yes, there we go. There's something that I would agree with. I would not mind a whole complete classic mode for a change. I'm the only one with muscle memory. This slide cancel. Yeah, like pretty much what I'm seeing is with life, I've been busy and I haven't been able to play, but I returned to the classic mode and have been trying to figure it out, and it fits me in my gaming life. Which I know I read that fucking completely wrong, but I agree. Like a lot of people, can we get a classic mode and S&D? Like, see, like a lot of people, like I feel like Call of Duty has a precision lobbies, 24/7 mosh pit playlist, classic mode. They can guarantee my purchase. See, this is where I'm getting it from. Call of Duty has nothing to do with VR into 2018. The mechanic has been designed for Battle Royale and should be kept out of multiplayer. That's where I'm like, I kind of disagree from there. But at the same time, it was probably a mechanic for Warzone, but I don't 100% know if that's confirmed or not. I could be wrong. But like at the same time, I feel like a lot of this stuff is cool. Like, I just want to see a classic mode in hardcore. See, that's another thing. You nailed it on the first part of the video. COD is building upon positioning and gunplay. Movement should be structured and gain advantages by getting positions, not getting zipped over a map and being rushed at. Like I do get it. Like people rush and things like that, but like Call of Duty was from its inception. Obviously, things change, but in inception was a lot on positioning gunplay, not off movement. So like I get that. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people. Cold War was a middle ground for movement. I have to go back and see where that is now in movement to really see that. It will be insanity if Modern Warfare 4 has skill-based matchmaking. Like, bruh, we're competing and going on in the gaming industry, and Activision is considered ripping off for good. Like, I really believe they should rip off that. Skill-based matchmaking always should be ripped out this game. Like, take it the fuck out. Like it should be caped the fuck out. And having a classic mode would be another thing. Uh, like I'm seeing a lot of sentiment that people are just saying yes. The answer is yes. I have fun with this mode. Like people, like I don't care for the classic mode. What I want to see is a mercenary mosh pit, so I don't have to keep playing against groups while I'm playing by myself. That's a take. That's an interesting take. I really like this game. Like the mercenary mosh pit I used to play on Modern Warfare 3, the old one, and that is a good idea. Like I love this. I love this idea. I truly do. Like holy shit. This would be the best case scenario in my opinion. And I'm just generally glad that like I'm honestly it seems like I'm getting more of a structure with this community when it's just completely yeses. I'm seeing that yeses around the board, but obviously exclusive aces community might be a little bit more on the older side, especially around where I'm at. So I can kind of see the little bit of differences there. But at the same time, time will tell. We'll see what goes on. But shout out exclusive ace. I'm going to put the link in the description for his video down below to go ahead and check it out. But yeah, I know there's a big rant. I talk a lot, but this is something very passionate about, very especially when it comes to movement in Call of Duty and how things are structured now and they're kind of moving in certain directions. And this would be the best thing is to add that on release and see how people prospect that and see what goes on there. But I'm very curious on what you guys think in the comment section down below. As always, guys, this has been Lance. I'll see you guys next time.